Welcome everyone to the public portion of our Board of Education. Thank you for waiting outside. We want to start at 7, so we're pretty close to 7, so thank you very much. So what we're going to do is we have a couple of items. Oh, okay, how about now? This on?
Can everybody hear us? We started. Good?
How about now?
You want to try?
How about now? Okay.
It's working. It's not.
It is? All right, so I'll just talk really, really loud. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, welcome, glad you came. It was a great turnout. It's gonna be a great night with all the awards that are coming up soon. But we do have a couple things we have to get to first. We had a opening for the Board of Education. That'd be our first order of business. And once that's done, we'll move to the superintendent's report. So the first part of that is on the agenda. We have a resignation and a nomination of a board member. So the first item is to accept the resignation of Carolyn Podorsky as of May 14th. She was our outgoing board member. So can I get a motion and a second in regards to Carolyn's resignation?
I'll move, Ellen.
I'll second.
Okay.
Second, Justina.
Any discussion on it? Okay, Mr. Bowman?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Vos,
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer,
Yes.
Mrs. Radden,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. DePinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo,
Yes.
passes.
Okay, thank you. So the next item is, we had the open position for a board member, so we're going to be bringing that, nominations and votes on that, and there'll be some discussion on each of the members. So we'll be moving forward with that, but before we do so, I just want to, on behalf of the board, publicly thank all 4 candidates that came through. They all came here on their own time, volunteered, they did excellent in their interview questions. Everyone did very well, and from the Board of Education, we all want to just thank you for coming. So we are now going to move for nominations. Does anyone have a nomination that they want to put forward? Beth,
I would like to nominate Erin Marr for the vacant position.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Richard Garros for his professional skill sets. I feel they would be an asset to the board and that he has been a community member for 40 years.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second Justina.
Okay, so we have a second. So the way we're going to work is we're going to go around, and Jason, I don't know if you want to do the roll call and explain the process about the comments that we're each going to give a comment on each person.
Yeah, so our bylaws simply state that we vote on the order of nomination, and that the person that obtains the majority of those here tonight, not abstaining, would be elected to the new board member role, which we have a vacancy. That board member elected is not going to take a seat this evening. They have to undergo a fingerprinting background check as well as orientation. They'll join us at a board retreat in July. So the first person to vote on tonight is Erin Maker.
Okay. Do you want to elect on, I guess, the normal order that we're going?
So you would simply say yes or no, and then after that, we would go to the second candidate.
We're supposed to have a discussion on the points before we do a roll call.
Well, I think as you vote, I think you can give a discussion. I think, right?
No.
Okay. I thought discussion was as you vote, like a vote for or against, not vote for this person. That's
I
all.
gave him an order.
No, it's put up nominations and then it's a discussion.
Let's do the policy. Let's do that here.
You are allowed to give commentary on, you know,
Like in
While you're
support
voting, I
of-
thought it was while you're voting according to the policy.
In support.
Yeah.
Is that policy?
Okay, in support, yeah, so we'll just go in order and you can make a commentary as you make your vote. I believe almost Dr. Are you looking at the policy?
Policy number 0143. I'll just read the policy. So basically, in considering candidates who have expressed an interest in a vacancy, the Board of Education may interview candidates in public or executive session. The board must vote to appoint a candidate to a vacancy in public session, and there shall be no decisions made in executive session. In the event interviews are conducted in executive session, board members in the public session nomination and voting process shall express their opinion in support of their vote so the public can witness any deliberations, policy formulation, and the decision-making process of the board. A roll call vote will be conducted on candidates in the order the candidates were nominated with a second. If there are 2 or more vacancies, that's not us. So that's it.
Yeah, so I thought it was in support, but you want to do it ahead of time?
Yeah, I would like to give commentary to support why I nominate Erin. Yeah.
Okay, please do.
So Erin, in her interview, I thought was a fantastic candidate. I thought Erin was a fantastic candidate to fulfill this vacancy. And the things that stood out to me is she talked a lot about balancing the needs of children, that children come to us in all different ways. And it's up to the Board of Education and the school district to educate all students regardless of their strengths and, things that they need to work on. Erin is a parent in the district with young children, and we talked about how that would be good for the Board of Education to have somebody who's in that elementary school level represented on the Board of Education. The thing that stood out to me the most was that when asked what the role of a board member is, her response was that the board member's role is oversight and policy and procedures. And me personally, I think that's the most important thing in selecting a board member, is to know that it's an oversight position. We're not running the district, which is what she said. You're not running the district, you're just making sure that the district is well run. So in my mind, that Erin is the strongest candidate.
Okay, so before we move on to Richard, anyone else want to comment on Erin?
I will concur with Ms. Fiore's comments because you did mention some of my rationale. I also wanted to point out that Ms. Maher is a librarian with experience in reading programs, which I thought was particularly useful for our district. And as a parent in the district who has been engaged and participating with children in the district, she's very close to parental needs and would keep us in touch with the elementary school activities.
Any other comments on Erin? You nominated Richard. Would you like to make any comments?
Sure. I nominated Rich Pieros. He's a community member for 40 years. His children went through the Reddington school system. The skills he will bring to the board are communication skills, strong negotiation skills, experience with contracts. He's well versed in buildings and roofing. He has served as the president of boards throughout his career, and I feel that his professional skill sets would be a great asset to our board.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to make comments? Christine?
I can add to Ellen's. I agree with all that she said. He is a longtime resident. He also strongly stated how he wants to give back to the community, and he's there to support all the children in our district. He believes in communication between the school and parents and the students. So I also agree that he would be a very great asset to our board.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay. So as we're doing this, as Jason does it, as best to grant the policy, you can also make comments when you make your vote as well. It's like during nomination or as you catch the vote. It's up to you if you want to make any additional comments as you go. So any other discussion before we move the vote on Erin? Yeah, Mr. Bone.
So as a friendly reminder, do your best not to vote twice, and yes or no. So the first vote will be on Erin Maher. I'll go in normal roll call order. Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
No.
Mrs. Menser,
Abstain.
Mrs. Rapp,
Yes.
I know. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. No.
Mrs. Ryan,
No.
Mrs. DePinto,
No.
Mr. Rizzo.
No.
So this second vote will be for Richard Pieros. Remember, vote yes or no, and try not to do it twice. Mrs. Cassidy,
No.
Mrs. Fiore,
No.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Menser,
Abstain.
Mrs. Rapp,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. DePinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
So the majority of those here present and voting and not abstaining, Richard Pieros has successfully achieved that for policy and bylaw.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bone. All right, so everyone, thank you very much. Again, I want to thank all 4 candidates for coming. I want to congratulate Mr. Pieros for being elected to or being appointed to the next position. As Jason said, that'll be sworn in on our next meeting, which is July 22nd, I believe, right? Which is also our board retreat. On that, I am now going to move to the next item on the agenda, which is why most of you are here, which is the superintendent's report. So Dr. Hart.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. It is June, which means it's a very exciting time of year. And I have the privilege tonight of honoring all of the young students that are here with us tonight in some of the more recent awards that our students have achieved in our schools, outside of our schools, and in local competitions as well. I'm going to begin tonight with the Student Council Award. And I'm going to read a brief intro and then I'll introduce a teacher to hand out certificates. So the RMS Student Council has been awarded the prestigious Standards of Excellence Award this year at this year's New Jersey Student Council Association's annual ceremony at Six Flags Great Adventure. Not a bad spot to get an award. This honor recognizes outstanding student leadership, service, as well as engagement. Our Student Council earned this award by organizing impactful events, demonstrating strong communication with school leadership, and fostering a positive school culture. We want to recognize the Student Council for their extraordinary efforts and leadership under the guidance of Ms. Erica Applegate. This is Applegate. Come on up. So Mrs. Applegate, when you can do a brief intro if you want to, and then we have student names to represent some students.
Sure. So hi everyone, I'm Erica Appleby. I teach 6th grade language arts at Reddington Middle School. And this is my first year advising student council. I advise it with Mr. O'Neill. He is a special ed math teacher at Reddington Middle School. We were really excited to apply for this award and we didn't really know what to expect when we did. And if you look up the award, it says it's a very rigorous process to apply for it and compete for it, and it was. We had 4 members of the student council who took a huge role in us earning this award. They met during lunch, they met before school, they went on a trip to West Orange to meet with another student council, and those were our 4 officers of the student council. So I'd like to announce them and have them come up if they're here. I know I see one of them, I'm not sure I see everyone. But first is our student council president, Sophia Reyes. So come on up, Sophia. And Sophia is graduating, so we will miss her greatly in student council next year. And then our student council vice president, Max Bakerman, who I don't believe is here, but he was recently elected president for next year's student council. And then our spirit coordinator, Lucas Sands, who's a 7th grader, and he was also just re-elected as a spirit coordinator for next year's student council. And then last but not least, Kira Wilson, who is our event coordinator for student council. Is she here? No. She'll be graduating also. We'll also miss her greatly in student council. So they did a great job. Good job, guys.
Thank you so much. Karen. Also at Reddington Middle School, it was the Battle of the Books event. It's provided by the New Jersey Association of School Librarians, and students are required to read books in a very competitive way, and that of course makes it more fun. But to tell you more about the competition and our student winners, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Singer, the librarian from Reddington Middle School. Mrs. Singer.
I wanted you all to see what Winnie looks like. I am so proud of all of our leaders. We had 4 teams this year that competed. Every year we have an in-school battle of the books where the teams compete against each other in practice for our county tournament, which brings in teams from throughout the county, and actually just welcome Hillsborough in this as well. So it is created by the New Jersey Association of School Librarian Tourist members to use with their schools. And our teams had to read 15 books. And we found that the most successful teams were if there was overlap, and there definitely was. There was a lot of reading that took place. And it's a great event because it takes on reading, which is like naturally a personal sort of, internal pursuit, and makes it fun and competitive. And I have to say that I love when all these other students come into the library from all these different schools, and there's just like a little chatter about books. And then they're just also excited, like they all see their own people, like you're my people, and that's wonderful. So I'm very proud of all of our teams. And if this trophy, I designed it 10 years ago when we first started hosting at RMS, and it was due to come back. And I'm super proud of our winning members. I just want to point out that Kira Wilson was also on this team for the in-school battle, but she had a conflict and wasn't able to join us for the tournament itself. So she was also very helpful in the team getting ready. However, our 4 competing members of the Battle of Books that won this tournament for us was Fernanda Reyes, Sophia Reyes, Lily Rivers, and Marjorie Side. I just want to say, you guys, I am proud of you with all of your reading trophy or your trophy, but it is nice to
Can you take a picture with us?
absolutely. No, I'm fine with that. I'm on that.
Congratulations. The fine and performing arts are truly valued here in our district, and we have an overwhelming number of students who participate in band, chorus, and orchestra programs, and we also have very talented artists using a variety of different media. Once again this year, students from across the district were selected to have their artwork displayed in the Hunterdon Art Museum's Young Artist Showcase. It was celebrated on April 5th. The artwork included dragon eyes, pet portraits, celebrity portraits, gamographs, which is art that looks different from various viewpoints. I have to look that up today. And bobbleheads. I also received a special personalized note from the Director of Education and Community Engagement over at the Art Museum, Dr. DeVille, showing her appreciation for the high level of engagement and talent from our students and all of the work that they've done for the Art Museum. So tonight we recognize their incredible talents. I'm going to ask Mrs. Singer once again to come up and help me recognize the students.
Ooh, there are many of you. All right, here we go. Michael Auger. Skylar Bergeron. Olivia Bradley. Aubrey Brooks. Cooper Kassler. Jordan Correa. Riley Justiniano. Addison Dudley. Lily Byard. Emily Fisher. Kim Fosbury. Diana Ham. Elliot. Ken Koval. Arnie Lewinsky. Alexa Marquise. Autumn Myers. Owen McCullough. Molly Nolan. Stephen Obi. Ariel Lavalley. Srina Patel. Claire Fitzgerald. Lily Potts. Madison Renninger. Adrian Elsington. Cameron Seitz. Jonathan Stevens. Elodie Thompson. Sophia Dutron. And Michkowski. That was disease. Yay!
I'd like to introduce Mrs. Holizan from Three Bridges School.
Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to read the Bloomer scenes of our outstanding student artists from Three Bridges School. Maxine Bustillo. Sylvester Kofoni. Olivia Del Poli. Eliana Dilger. Jackson Dunn. Samantha Irwin. Skylar Finley. Olivia Gattuso. Jaden Gibson. Mabel Hathaway. Finn Hebden. Rocco Laporta. Felicity Logan. Evelyn Mayer. Scarlett Mayer. Jack Lemay. Eva McMahon. Agnes Aguiluga. Bailey Pachuta. Nolan Pachuta. Nora Pakulin. Stella Salerno. Anthony Seraphin. Christopher Simmons. McCall Singh. Alana Souza. Charlotte Steer. Garrett Thompson. William Tucci. Alina Tumber. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Iglesias from White House School.
Hi, I'm Lenora Iglesias. I'm the art teacher at White House School. All right, Violet Adamczyk. Jesselyn Allen. Ellis Azim. John Brown. Jasper Cahill. Nicole DeCessio. Cora J. DePinto. Gavin de Blasio. Jaziel Dahl. Emma Elisius Dominguez. Thomas Dunham. Bryce Emmons. Oliver Franco. Russell Gregorio. Emily Harris. Dennis Haber. Stella Calrigal. Declan Cadlis. Kaya Crouchett. James Lebrock. Lana Mehta. Carly Metcalf. Charlotte Murray. Everly Nelson. Elena Rajiv. Reagan Riley. Anna Scott. Eric Urbanowitz. Juliet Yusas. And Chelsea Velez Gabrielle.
This evening, we also celebrate accomplishments from the Reddington Township Music Department. For the second year in a row, our schools have been selected to receive the national distinction as one of the best communities in music education. Now in its 26th year, Best Communities for Music Education has the designation is awarded to school districts that demonstrate outstanding achievement in providing music access and education to all students. This is exemplified by our CJMEA honors and band recognitions. In March, 7th and 8th grade students performed to hundreds of people in Monroe Middle School, and then in April, students from Hollenberg School participated in the CJMEA Elementary Honors Band. They had an amazing performance, met other musicians, and worked hard for their entire concert. I'd like to take a moment and introduce some of the teachers to tell you a little bit more about the awards. To start with the Elementary Honors Band, Ms. Richter from Hollenberg School.
All right, so for all of the honors band, orchestra, and chorus performances, these students were chosen out of hundreds and hundreds of nominations to represent Reddington with students from all over the state for all of these performances, and we are just so proud of them and all that they accomplished at these events. So for the elementary honors band, we have Riel DeStazio. Peter Lydic. Emily Mueller. Anthony Pietrangelo. And Eric Schnapp. I'm also, on behalf of this open hour, I'm going to be announcing the honors chorus that performed for the middle school. So those students are Olivia Bradley, Natalia Danbeck, Jordan D'Antono, Julian Fosford, Veronica Moran, Patrick Oates, Caleb Hawley, Annabelle Shaw, Madeline Shaw, Casey Swan, and Pierre Wilson.
To present students with their recognition for elementary honors orchestra and middle school orchestra, I'd like to introduce Mr. Hasselberg.
All right, and just like at the end, we had a CJMEA Honors Orchestra, where we have a large amount of students this year invited to participate. If you're here, come on up. Matthew Dunn. Taylor Reed.
Congratulations. And finally, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Lestrange to talk about middle school honors band as well as the jazz festival.
Hi, everybody. It's Angela. I have a little guest with me tonight. This is my son, James. Just like Ms. Richter and Mr. Hasselberg have mentioned, the audition, not really the audition process, we nominate students. And based on our nominations, they select students from our school. We were lucky to have a lot of students nominated this year, and a lot of students accepted this year for our middle school and elementary school honors band. So we also did a jazz festival in March, as far away as that seems from now, in March, and because we wasn't really much of a competition, it was more of like, hey, let's see what all these other schools are doing, and let's celebrate our programs. They did give us awards at the end. Our saxophone section won an award for the best saxophone section that stood out in our performance, and our soloist Jaden Chen also received an award for an improvised solo that he made up completely on the spot. So we're really proud of that. All right, for the middle school honors, we have Victoria Neese. Who's actually in here. Trevor Bowser. Elizabeth Goloveski. Ava Gonzalez. Philip Hindle. Adriana Hoika. Jonathan Carilla. Eric Schroeder. Annabelle Shaw. And Matthew Stillman. For elementary, CJMEA does elementary 4th through 6th. So some of our RMS students actually are participating in that as well. And they are, nice robot. All right, they are Kelvin Baglino, Jaden Chen, Remy Knoll, Carter Lopicki, Maxwell Perker, Nicholas Spivey, and Zachary Wang. It's just way to represent. Oh, yeah, awesome. I think you're still here, awesome. We also went to the Music in the Parks Festival, and we scored a superior for jazz and excellence for chorus and band and orchestra, with Annabelle Shaw winning the best student accompanist. So we had a really nice performance. The students had an excellent time at the park. We had mostly good weather, so we really we had rain for about an hour, and then got to enjoy the rest of the time. So we had a really successful day at Music in the Parks. That was actually last Friday. So it's the only show did. All right. So what happens when babysitting falls through? All right. All right, so for the Bridgewater Jazz Festival that I mentioned before, our honorees are Aditya Biju, Jonathan Carrillo, Patrick Post, Eric Schroeder, and Matthew Stillman. There you go. You get to take a picture. Yeah.
This concludes our recognitions for this evening. I want to thank you all for coming. The Board of Education and I are going to move forward with the superintendent's report, which includes the discussion of the referendum. So you're welcome to stay. Everybody laughs. So
Yeah.
It sounds exciting. It's very exciting. Before you go, please, I would like to just ask if Mr. Rizza from the Board of Education, would you like to say anything?
Yes, thank you, Dr.
All
Hart.
right, please go ahead.
So first of all, I want to congratulate the students and amazing accomplishments that you've made between the student council, the battle of the books, the young artists, the CGME music. It's just an amazing set of accomplishments, and congratulations. I also want to congratulate the parents for supporting the little children, brothers, sisters, aunts and uncles, family that came. Thank you for coming out and supporting the school district and your children, and the teachers as well that came. So thank you as well. So on behalf of the Board of Education, very appreciative of everything you've done, the teachers, parents, and congratulations to the students.
Mr. Is it okay if we just take a couple minutes?
Yeah, so I was thinking
Folks who
for
are
5 minutes.
please feel free to depart at this time. Let's move forward with
It was okay. Yeah, it didn't rain, it's rained too long. Good.
Thank you very much. Fun stuff. Where are we on the agenda?
I got to work first hand with the. Because there was the first talent show they had money. And we were trying to learn. Like, so much all together. That was Richard came in a couple times.
You have a lot of committees.
I was little too. 30. 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do not.
Oh, for the board.
Meetings long, but
It just
it
makes it
didn't
one
do it.
bad.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But we need to find.
Oh, my gosh. Just have an hour to stand up.
Yeah.
So,
It's like being on a plane.
Mics are working. People will be able to hear us. He said that. So, we can turn back speakers on.
He adjusted.
For the next portion of the superintendent's report, I wanted to update the full Board of Education in regards to the referendum communications timeline. So we met and Mrs. DePinto will be giving a report later on in our agenda that we met last week, I believe it was, and our communications consultant spent the first 10, 15 minutes of the meeting discussing bond referendum communications and our timeline. There are some things when it comes to referendum communications that are critical to share with the full Board of Education with presentations like this, so that we're all on the same page when it comes to our timeline. So first, I'll just draw the board's attention to the deliverables that are included up in the upper right-hand corner. We've been working with our communications consultant to develop some deliverables, and these are tangible take-home artifacts, if you will, that we're going to implement and execute as we get closer to the referendum date on November, which is election day. So there will be a direct mailer, which is, like those postcards that you get in the mail as a resident, that'll have information about the referendum. I have met with a animated explainer video production individual / small company that provides animated videos that are short, they're 2 minutes long. They use only graphics and animations to provide very, very high level, yet with a level of detail in the simplest and quickest way fashion type of information. It's a great clickable video for social media, to put on a QR code. And it's everything that the community needs to know about the referendum in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. There will be a one-pager that administration and board members can bring to events, like back to school nights and events like that. That's just a simple one-page back and front handout that we can provide to any member of our community. We'll have social media graphics. We also talked to the individual in charge of the animated explainer videos about doing like 30-second quick videos, maybe once a week, that could be social media videos that are delivered via Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We're going to develop some banners to hang up in each of the buildings. And then we have at our disposal township newsletters as well as local newspapers to print information about the referendum, which we've started a little bit of already through just the superintendent newsletter. So our timeline is underneath. We've completed the April-May timelines. We've done some communications planning. We've done some vendor outreach. We're in the process of developing the direct mailer, and we're working on our campaign tagline, right? Just a short, quick couple of words or sentences that can really capture the attention. This month, we're going to finalize all of the creative. The communications committee, policy committee's meeting again next week. Our communications consultant will be with us, and she has some samples to show us of the creative work. The tagline, the one-pager that'll be shrunk and then do the mailer. The goal is we need to ensure that the policy and communications committee gives us the green light to move forward with some minor revisions for our creative so that we can send items for production over the summer. Because by the time we hit September and October, our goal is to fully launch and use all of these deliverables to execute a successful referendum vote. So we're going to release communications in the fall, specific timeline in the fall, and we're going to have in-person events. I've begun creating a document that I'll share with the full Board of Education. The document lists all of the school-wide and public events that we have in the fall. Events that we can take advantage of as board members and administration to be in the community, to set up a table, and to hand out information about the referendum. So I'll be sharing that with the board once I finalize it. It includes community nights, parent information nights, back to school nights, and other community events where we can bring a table and some artifacts to talk about the referendum with the community. I'm going to say I will need your assistance. I hope there's a lot of interest from the board to come to these events. As wonderful as it is, Jason and I can't be the only faces of the referendum. We need your help. We will need you to stand with us to hand out information about the referendum to really get out to the community. So I'll share that, and we can create a sign up and we can reserve those nights where we work together. An administrator alongside, 1-2 board members handing out pamphlets at an event would be fantastic. I'm going to coordinate with the HSA as well and talk about potential opportunities at HSA events. If you'll be there, I'll be there. We can talk about handing out information at HSA events if the HSA is okay with that and their bylaws. And then November, our goal is to celebrate success come November. That's what we're looking forward to. So this communications campaign is really going to be underway at the end of August, the beginning of September, but we're really going to look to work hard all the way through November, and then we'll be here at the November board meeting celebrating. And then we'll turn it over to Jason and Don to do all of the work to implement all of those 80 some odd referendum projects that we put on our agenda. So this is just a quick overview of our communications. Are there any questions from the board about our communications? Any thoughts? Sound good? All right. All right, the final thing, although Carolyn couldn't be here with us tonight, we have a certificate that we sent to her as well. And I just want to take some time to reflect on her 5.5 years about on the board. Carolyn Podgorski took her seat on the Board of Education in January of 2020. She often mentioned how she can recall in-person committee meetings and is probably one of the last board members to remember the in-person committee meetings in my superintendent's conference room. After that, we went virtual. Ms. Podgorski served on the Personnel, Ed Tech, Policy, Communications, and Negotiation Committees in her time on the board. She was the chair of the Personnel Committee over the course of several years, and Carolyn also was a consistent member of the Sick Bank Trustees when needed. Carolyn was always a thoughtful and conscientious board member, sharing her perspectives always with the students and the staff in mind. In her five years and 5 months of service, she provided her input in countless ways and spent many evening hours, particularly on the negotiations committee. She is a stalwart public servant, and we thank her for her contributions to the board. And I wish she could be here tonight, but I'd like to say thank you to Carolyn for her contributions. That concludes my superintendent report.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Hart. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is public comments for items on the agenda. So does anyone have any comments for items on the agenda? And just please state your name and town before you speak.
My name is Michael Risen. I'm a special ed teacher here at Holbrook. I've been here in the district for 18 years. Dr. Hart, Mr. Bohm, Board of Education members, and the community of Reddington. I would like, that's a lie, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to take this opportunity to submit my resignation as a teacher from the Reddington Township School District. And in that, I want to take a moment to let you know how difficult of a decision this is for me. My family and I did not take it lightly, and this decision was not made in haste or with emotion, rather with serious reflection and enormous gratitude. There's no doubt as to just how much I've loved working here. I've been here for 18 years, and I know that life goes on, but Reddington has been with me throughout my entire professional life. In my 18 years of service to the community, I achieved perfect attendance for 7 of those years. And before I had children, excluding professional development and responsibilities, I was absent for less than 1% of my contractual time. I say this to brag, not about myself, but about this community and just how enjoyable it was to be involved in it. Commutes that easily hit 90 minutes, leaving and getting home in the dark, as well as compromised time at home, they were all easily dismissed when this place was the destination. For years, I thought about trying to change my situation, but every year, as is the Reddington way, a new crop of kids would show up and I'd fall in love with them all over again. This town not only trusted me to work with their children, but it was always by my side. And you gave me guidance and support, handshakes and hugs throughout all of my major life events until now. One of my strongest philosophies is my belief that children should be able to have fun and enjoy coming to school, as the community setting has the ability to offer so much to them. I always aim to provide a sense of safety and stability, given the tumultuous ride that their developmental years guarantee them. I know too many that I'm the fun teacher, but please know that I take my job very seriously, and it is important to me that students feel happy, safe, and comfortable in the school setting. It's important that they know they're cared for. I do not take for granted the trust that we educators are given in helping shape children's views of themselves, their community, and the world. And I loved it because education, when it's great, it's amazing. It changes lives. It's changed my life. It inspires, it grows people, and it's contagious. It really is magic. You can break it down, you can study it all you want, but you can't just dial it up and call it in. It doesn't work like that. You can't predict what's going to happen day to day, month to month, or year to year. There's a quote out there that states that a teacher never knows their success until many years later. But in the meantime, we put our heads down, we get to work, and we believe in the process. And we hope that we help inspire a child to become the best version of themselves. Because we know in the end that it's something special, that it's something magic. When I was hired in the principal's office up at the middle school, they told me to go to the board office in the other building. So I got in my truck, drove around, and entered the 8th grade wing of the middle school and wandered around until I ended up right back where I started. I've reflected on this embarrassing mistake many times. We reflect a lot. We try to do our best, but we do make mistakes. So to those who I gave a grade or punishment that felt they didn't deserve it, or even worse, to those that I cut from a sports team, please know that those experiences still stick with me, and I'm sorry for any hardship that I imposed on you. But I've been lucky to work with so many wonderful people, both students and staff in this time. I had no idea of the possibilities that this place held, the memories I would form, nor the lessons I would learn, both as an educator and as a person, and now as a husband and a father. So thank you for that. But tonight, when I looked around earlier, and I contemplate my future here, I see that it's only friends, it's only family, and it's all gratitude. It's incredibly difficult for me to end this, to leave a place that has served as a home, a beacon of the future, and quite frankly, is paradise to me. It feels like the entire community has been with me throughout this journey. But I want to say thank you to a few people who helped shape this experience before I go. Blair Albert, who was my first colleague, sidekick, and friend. Colleen DiGregorio, who took me under her wing in room 23, encouraged me to start a family, and showed me how to install a baby seat in my car. Bob Clymer, who has guided me, mentored me, and looked after me from my first day until, well, we can't get rid of him at this point. The many, many students I've had the privilege of working with, watching over them proudly, enjoying the successes that they ultimately do deserve. My mother, who instilled the power of education by being a Hunter County Board of Ed member for 30 years. So believe me, I know the sacrifice you're all making. I also know how to use the microwave. My father, who's my biggest hero, my role model. My twin brother, Stephen, who's my best friend. My wife, Laura, who has always believed in and supported me in everything I do, and knows just how much this job meant to me. And of course, my little Hazel and Emily. And tonight, I know this is, you can see this anywhere. So this is for all of you, for taking a chance with me, accepting me as one of your own, showing me how to be the best version of myself, and most of all, for waiting with me, as we've all waited together for something magical to happen. Thank you, Reddington. This has been a wonderful, perfect place to work. The pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments, public comments? Anything online?
Can I say something real quick? I just wanted to say Mr. Wilson is going to be missed. I have personal experience with my child. He had my child, and he cried when Mr. Wilson left to leave. And I've never seen any of my kids cry when the teacher leaves. So I feel like the district is going to be missing a really good teacher. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Cal. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is correspondence. We have two that we have on record. After that, we're going to move to some board actions. The first one is the approval of administrative reports. We have 4 items, 1.01 through 1.04. Can I get a motion and a second on those 4 items?
I'll move, Ellen.
Second, Michelle.
Okay, excellent. Any discussion? Bo?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Ms. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer,
Yes.
Mrs. Pratt,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. Next item is approval of minutes. We have 2 items, 201 through 202. Can I get a motion and a second?
I'll move, Ellen.
I'll second him.
Okay. Any discussion? Mr. Bum?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. Next item is finance and facilities. We have 27 items, 301 through 327. We're also going to have a committee report. So before we do the report, can I get a motion and a second on the 27 items?
A motion, Paula?
Okay?
Second,
Thank you.
and we have a committee report,
Yeah, good.
okay to go?
Yep.
All right, so the finance committee met on Friday, May 16th. I'll run through the list of topics and the key takeaways. First topic was property. The committee discussed the Ryerson Road property. IT shared services. The committee discussed the potential for a shared services agreement for IT services with the Township of Reddington. This would allow district employees to extend their workday after school hours in exchange for compensation, and the township would benefit from the district's IT expertise. The committee agreed to proceed with an IT shared services agreement with the township. Non-resident staff tuition. The committee is supportive of extending eligibility for staff non-resident tuition and suggested communicating this to all staff to ensure consistent awareness across the district. RTAA negotiations. The committee discussed the financial implications of potential administration restructuring. Next step is for the negotiations committee to engage with the RTAA on the topic. No decision was made by the finance committee on this topic. Referendum, communication and guidelines. This topic was tabled for a future committee meeting. PERK and health and prescription insurance. The committee discussed a potential PERK regarding health and prescription insurance. The SHIFT Insurance Wellness Grant. A wellness grant at no cost is available from the insurance. This will create funding for employee wellness access. The board will need to formally accept the grant in the future. Unpaid insurance waivers, that topic was tabled. TBS Preschool Bathroom Rod Grant. The Rod Grant for preschool bathroom has been extended and the funds need to be utilized prior to the extension deadline, which is in 2026. The bill list was available for the committee to review. Expenses were typical with the exception of final payments to preschool providers and capital projects. Next meetings are planned for July 2nd and August 21st at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, Michelle. Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Bowen?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes, but abstain on 3.16.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes to all except for item 3.01. I abstain from check number 065029 and check number 065337.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is education technology. There is no committee report today, but we do have 6 items to move. So can I get a motion in a second to move items 401 through 406?
Motion, Paula?
I'll second.
Second, okay. Any discussion on the 6 items? Okay. Mr. Bowman?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Next item is personnel, which we will have a committee report. So first, I'm going to move item, or ask to have items 501 through 539 moved in a second, and then we'll do the committee report. So can I get a motion in a second?
Motion, Paula?
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. So Justina?
Yes, so the committee met on May 30th at 8:30 in the morning. We discussed staffing updates for the 25-26 school year. The committee reviewed current updates across all the schools and the departments. We discussed the enrollment update for the 25-26 school year, projections for the school year, and we'll continue to monitor enrollment trends throughout the spring. Shared services agreement for the business department. The committee discussed the shared services agreement for our business department with East Amwell. This collaboration is a strong reflection of the outstanding work our administration staff contributes to our district, and it presents an opportunity for us to extend our expertise in support of a neighboring district. The committee discussed the supervisor of early childhood position along with revisions to administrative job descriptions. We also discussed health insurance perk. The committee discussed 2 concerns in regards to the current health insurance. Both have been resolved. Agenda items include new hires, supervisor job description, shared services with East Amwell, ESY hires, motion to allow superintendent to hire over the summer, and other typical items. And we set our next meeting for July 16th at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. Any discussion? Mr. Bowman?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. So the next item is the communication. We will have a committee report, but first we have two items, 601 through 602. Can I get a motion in a second?
I'll move Ellen.
Second, Paula.
Thank you. Committee report.
Sure. Um, The Policy and Communications Committee met on May 28th at 4 p.m. The first item we discussed was the referendum communications. Lori Perlow, our communication consultant, joined our meeting to review referendum communications with the committee. There was a civic student survey. The eighth grade civic students created a community survey to gather community input on school funding, taxes, and the need to complete projects at RMS. Dr. Hart shared the results with the committee. We look forward to seeing these presentations at the Project Citizens Forum in June. Then we moved on to the timeline. Lori Perlow reviewed the bond referendum timeline. Right now, the deliverables are being fine-tuned with the following goals in mind. June, finalize the creatives, direct mail, videos, banners, social media, etc. July to August, we will send all items to print. September through October, we'll fully launch all communications and in-person events. We were given the opportunity to view a cartoon EDU sample. Dr. Hart and Lori are looking into a company called Cartoon EDU that puts together animated explainer videos. It is relatively inexpensive and could be a helpful tool for referendum communications. We also reviewed the taglines. We went over some of the possible taglines for referendum communications. The committee preferred the use of three-word language and provided feedback and suggestions on some keywords to highlight. We then reviewed a do's and don'ts for BOE members. Lori presented the committee with a document that reviews the board members' involvement in the bond referendum campaign. It explains the two primary goals for board members are to inform voters of the vote and to direct voters to the official district resources with factual information. This document has been shared with the full board. Then we moved on to our policy tracking document for review of the 1000 series in our manual. The committee reviewed their suggested edits with Dr. Hart for each of the policies in the 1000 series. The following policies require no changes. 1130, staff liaison committees, 1260, incapacity of superintendent, 1310, employment of school BA board secretary, 1320, duties of the school BA board secretary, 1330, evaluation of the school BA board secretary, 1350, incapacity of the school BA board secretary, 1400, job descriptions, 1510, Americans with Disabilities Act, 1511, BOE website accessibility, 1570, internal controls, 1581, victim of domestic or sexual violence leave, 1613, disclosures and review of applicants' employment history, 1620, administrative employment contracts. The following policies are recommended to be abolished. Policy 1555, domestic partnership. This policy is outdated and goes against state law requirements. And policy 1648.15, record keeping for healthcare settings and school buildings. For COVID-19, this policy is no longer relevant. The following policies were recently updated and not included in this review. 1523, comprehensive equity plan. 1530, equal employment opportunity. 1550, affirmative action program for employment and contract practices, and 1642.01, sick leave. The following policies require minor edits and further discussion. Policy 1100, district organization, adding a line for clearer instruction for staff. An example, personnel are expected to refer matters requiring administrative action to the administrator to whom they are responsible. Personnel are expected to keep the person to whom they are immediately responsible informed of their activities by appropriate means. Policy 1120, the management team, add technological staff to our list and consider listing out our management team. Policy 1140, the educational equity policies, affirmative action. As per an article in Ed Weekly, the U.S. Department of Education considers the use of diversity, equity, and inclusion to be a potential violation of the anti-discrimination law. It argues that the act of treating people differently based on their race or programs that advantage one whose race over another constitute an illegal DEI practice, citing the U.S. Supreme Court's 2023 decision to overturn the legality of affirmative action policies that allowed universities to consider race as a factor in college admissions decisions. The department initially gave states 10 days to respond, but extended the deadline to April 24th in a follow-up letter. The agency is also asking state education chiefs to collect certifications from local districts. As of today, the state responded on behalf of all schools. We will keep up to date on any changes. Other policies in this series may be impacted by this at a later date. Policy 1210, Board Superintendent Relations. We talked about, do we want to add anything about keeping costs down while ensuring the best educational opportunities? Also coordinate community resources with those of the districts. Some committee members suggested we not reference costs in this policy as this isn't necessarily needed in board relations. This may require further discussion. Policy 1220, Employment of Chief School Administrator. Include a statement about the board evaluating the superintendent one time annually according to policy 1240. 1230, Superintendent's Duties. This is missing content on code 18A 37-4, suspension of pupils by teacher or principal, but this may not be necessary. 1240, evaluation of superintendent, include language to make it clear that all superintendent evaluations are to be completed by July 1st, regardless of tenure status. 1522, school level planning. This policy is listed on our table of contents, but is not listed in the manual. It has been suggested to add this policy to the manual as it reflects how the building principals come up with achievement plans and report out to the board. Policy 1540, Administrators Code of Ethics, suggested that we remove the 5 principles of commitment to the profession, as other districts have only the ethics listed. This policy requires further discussion prior to any edits. 1643, Family Leave, need to update the staff eligibility section to reflect a rolling 12-month period backward from the data staff member uses any family leave. Ours currently has the beginning of the school year as July 1. We then went on to discuss breakfast offer versus serve, policy 8507. It was a policy sample. The board only has policy 8508 to reflect lunch service, but we'll need 8507 because we now serve breakfast. Our district has above 10% low income in more than one school, and therefore we need to offer breakfast. Adding this policy will keep us in compliance with the Department of Agricultural requirements. This is going well in the elementary school and is doing better in Hollenbrook School and RMS than it was. This also includes off-site preschool locations. We then went on to discuss the school calendar for the 2026-2027 school year. Dr. Hart proposed the 2026-2027 school year calendar with leadership. It is new district practice to plan the school year calendar more than a year in advance. Please note this is not for the next school year, but for the 26-27 school year. It has been decided to have teachers begin on September 1 through 2 and students on September 3. September 4 will be an early dismissal for the Labor Day weekend. If we have 2 snow days, the school year will end on June 21st. Graduation will be held on June 18th. If we do not have 2 snow days, school will end on the 18th. The agenda items were adopt policy 8507 and the school calendar, and our next meeting is scheduled for June 18th at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Any discussion? Okay.
Ms. Cassie,
Yes.
Ms. Fury,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Mentor,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo,
Yes.
passes.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We have 2 items, the board retreat and the board self-evaluation. I could comment on the evaluation. Do you want to comment on the board retreat a while about that?
There are similar agenda items. I'll just say that the board retreat is scheduled for July 22nd. During that board meeting, we traditionally have dinner brought in, so you can arrive or expect to arrive a little early. The board meeting starts at 5. We can have dinner at about 4:30, and then call the meeting to order at 5, and we begin our retreat around 5. And I discussed some topics and the board self-evaluation with Judith Wilson. Once the evaluation is complete, I'll send it over to her so that she can formalize the agenda.
Okay, thank you. For the self-evaluation, I sent an email out a week ago or so with a link to the evaluation done through New Jersey School Boards Association. Saw the questions, get details, so I think I gave until next Friday to complete it. So if you have a chance, please go in and complete the self-evaluation. Once that's done, our NJSBA representative will compile the results, send them to me. I'll review them. As soon as I get them, assuming there's no issue, I'll forward them out to the full board, Dr. Hart, and Dr. Hartman at the board with the junior Wilson. So that's the process, and then we'll discuss it, as Dr. Hart said, at the board retreat. So I don't know if there's any questions on that. You good? Next item is new business from the board. So Dr. Hart, did you want to discuss the board dates?
Yeah, I was just looking in the agenda, and I don't know if this attachment made it into the agenda, but something that I wanted to bring to your attention. With the referendum vote being November on election day, what I will send to all of you via email were proposed Board of Education meeting dates in the fall to include our traditional September 9th first meeting, adding a late September Board of Education meeting for September 30th, and then an October Board of Education meeting. My thinking here is, let's say the first September meeting on September 9th, we would host in, for example, Three Bridges School. We would start the meeting early. On September 9th, we would do an open public forum and tour of Three Bridges School for the referendum purposes. We can invite the public, and we would hold the meeting there. Then on September 30th, we could hold the meeting at White House School, invite the public at 6 o'clock, for example, again, and do 45 minutes to an hour of a tour of White House School, review all the projects there as well. And then the October board meeting is a pretty busy board meeting because we go over the achievement results, but I thought we could start that meeting closer to 5 and do the tours of RMS and Hollenbrook. Now, Hollenbrook doesn't have a ton of projects for the referendum, some of which we're doing through capital projects over the summer. Really, it's HVAC systems on the roof, and I'm not really going to take you or the community members up on the roof or anything like that. So we can walk through Hollenbrook. That should be a relatively quick tour, and also tour RMS too, and then have the meeting in our traditional meeting here and just push the achievement results back to about 7 o'clock. So do about 90 minutes of tours and then a 7 o'clock meeting. And I apologize, I don't see it in the agenda, but I redid all of the list of board meeting dates. The purpose being for us as a board to host a meeting in the location where we can discuss in any great detail the referendum projects in that building, and the public can see the projects for themselves as we walk through together, and it can be an official board meeting. I mentioned this to the leadership team in our meeting last week, so they're aware of it as well, and I'll coordinate an agenda and a tour with the principals of each building. That's the idea. So I think those are the dates: the 9th, the 30th of September, and I believe it's the 15th of October is our 14th of October is our October board meeting. And then I also will add to the calendar just a public information forum for the referendum as well, sometime in late October, maybe after the school board's convention, to come back in late October and have a open forum for the community. That wouldn't necessarily be a board meeting. I mean, board members are welcome to attend. We could talk about that in a little bit more detail, but just an opportunity for Jason and I to be there with our architect or our bond counsel and have just a strictly referendum only event for parents and community members. Yeah, Ben.
Do we know back to school nights for September, or we'll just steer clear of that for the, because I didn't see that posted anywhere.
So we have the detailed district calendar that's on our website. That we started planning that out about a month ago, and I put placeholders for the board meetings and for referendum public forums on the agenda first, and had the principals plan back to school night around those events. But so they'll be totally different. But if you're interested in seeing the document of all the back to school nights that are tentative, so that you can sign up to be there with me or Jason to hand out referendum items, I can share that with you sooner rather than later. So we can do a sign up.
What time are the your board meeting dates that you're adding?
So the
They're all
9th of September would be 6, and the tour would be about an hour long, and then we would go into our regular business at 7. September 30th would be 6 o'clock again as well, about an hour of tours, regular business at 7. And then October 14th my proposal would be 5:30, 90 minutes of tours, both Hollenbrook and RMS, and then regular business starting at 7 o'clock, which would include the achievement results. So that'll be
I'm sorry, that was the 14th?
October
At
14th.
what time? now?
So would we?
5:30. I'm
5:30.
sorry, did I not say that? 5:30.
You did, I just wasn't writing fast.
Would we start the meeting at 6 either for the board reviews, or would we actually start at 7, say on the 9th and 30th? Like, when do we actually begin the board meeting?
What I would think is, you let me know what you think. The superintendent's report is first. We could even put a separate agenda item, like we could call to order, we could do the flag salute, and we could have a separate item that just says tour of Three Bridges School. And we could be walking around the school, and that could be immediately at 6 o'clock. Anticipated that 7 o'clock or so, we would get into our regular business. Any thoughts? I mean, I can be flexible, but I would open the meeting and advertise it as 6 o'clock.
I mean, that worked well when we did the last meeting, we did the call to action, and we went to the cafeteria for the reward, the retirements, and the awards. I mean, that seemed fine.
That's what I would think.
Okay.
And hopefully we get a good turnout. You know? I could put some awards on the board meeting for the night. Get everybody to come, right?
But the actual board business most likely will start at 7, so if someone can't make it for 6, probably fine, but you still make it for 7.
Yeah, as long as we had a quorum, we'll just have to make sure each of those board meetings, maybe Jason could just do a quick email, make sure we have a quorum to open the meeting at 6. So at least we have 5 members here. So for example, if someone says, "Oh, I'm stuck at work," or something like that, we can have board members come at 7 for regular business.
Okay. All right, so anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's everything. And I will send you the list of dates with the time, so you have it. The only thing that we'll have to do as a board is we will have to vote on that, correct? Jason, you vote new board dates into the record at the next board meeting.
It's always an appropriate step.
So we'll just put it
Similar
on.
to reorg,
Yeah.
if possible.
Okay. Yeah, so be in the agenda item in July. Okay, so next item is the NJSBA delegate report and spring conference.
I emailed board members, the county meetings all take a break for the summer, so they'll start back up in September. The one program coming up, there's a webinar coming up that I emailed everyone, setting district and board goals, a practical guide for board members. It's a 1-hour webinar on June 18th in the morning. It's free to register. It might have some good information for our next retreat and goal setting. I thought that would be interesting. I know there also is a webinar on the board self-evaluation, if anyone feels they want to, it's on NJSBA's website, so you could always look there also. And then for the spring conference, I know several of us attended, so I just will share the best session that I found was related to school nurses and security drills. I actually sent that information to Dr. Hart and the staff, just things that, I said, I'm sure you're all aware, but new things to me. So I passed all the information along that I learned during that session. I thought overall it was really good. I thought that's the first time they've done that format. So that's really nice to do a virtual spring session as opposed to just going in the fall. If anyone else has any learnings from that, did you learn this?
I did the spring one. Yeah, I did a couple of schemes. Yeah, I timed it, but I didn't take a lot from it. I could.
Oh, really? You can go back and watch any of them too, that we have access, I think it's for 30 days, to go back and if there was like 2 that you wanted to see, you only could attend 1, so.
I thought the one on the EXSR was,
I'm sorry?
the one on the EXSR, I thought that was a good. The other one.
Yeah, I was disappointed in one. I was expecting, I think I was just expecting something different with the, it was addressing the teacher shortage and stuff like that. It was pretty much all about, I guess, Rowan's teacher program there. So I was just expecting something a little different. And then I thought the school safety one was good and worth watching.
So Beth, we can all access these recordings or only if we register?
Only if you registered, but I mean, if you ask me about a topic, I'm sure I could probably find a way to share it with you.
I'll just mention too, they sometimes, I find that school boards will do like repeat topics over and over again. So if there's a topic of interest, I mean, certainly I think Beth could maybe find a way to get you the information, but the next opportunity would be the convention in Atlantic City. Even if you can go for a day, Pam, like I don't know if that's of interest. And I think that if there are some recommendations of good sessions, you might be able to find them at the Atlantic City convention, because they tend to repeat some of the same sessions at different times.
Yeah, that's what I would welcome, any recommendations for which courses to take that are most useful for our community.
Beth, you said they're available for 30 days according to.
Only if you registered.
Only.
But the NJSBA has a bunch of webinars, and actually what they do a lot of times is they just take those anyway and put them on their webinar site. So if you go and look at all their big podcasts and whatever, like they just put all that information up at some point, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments, thoughts, discussion? Okay. So the next item is the board member election deadline. So I'll just throw some comments in on that. Everyone here has ran, so we're all familiar with the process. So I'll just give some details for people listening at home. So the board member deadline is July 28th at 4 p.m. So you could go to the Hunterdon County Clerk's website. There is a petition you could fill out. The petition, you can have single candidate petition, or you can actually run up to 3 candidates together in a joint election. You can go there, you need signatures. It's very self-explanatory. If you have any questions, Mary Melfi, the county clerk, is excellent. She'll answer all your questions. So if you're interested in running, just realize it's not just filing the form by December 28th. You do have to get it. You have to get some signatures. I think it's either 10 or 12.
I think they changed this year, yeah, they changed it. I think it's, I want to say 25, but not sure.
Okay, so they have to do 25, so there you go. So if you should go into the discussion, the difference from last year, and just give yourself time so that when you get there, you can actually file. I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on it. Okay. Our next item is public forum for any item on or off the agenda. So does anyone who'd like to come to the podium and speak? Do we have anyone online?
I'm not sure what that is.
I noticed that, but I don't know what's
Yeah,
on.
it says Kaden, hi, Kaden, does anyone know what the current topic is? Kaden, question mark?
Because when you were reading the policy in.
That's when someone posted that.
That's what it was.
Okay.
That could potentially be a student name that I think we called the name of that student maybe a couple times
maybe
tonight. So
during-
maybe the student was just looking to see if there was
If you
recognition.
were on that topic, yeah. Sorry, I just got to answer.
All right, so close public session. Our next item is we're going to be moving to executive session. We're going to have a motion to adopt the following resolution. Resolved to adjourn to executive session in accordance with the Sunshine Law to discuss HIB RTAA negotiations, a legal update, and the superintendent's evaluation for approximately 60 minutes, at which time the board expects to return to public session where action shall not be taken. The matters discussed will be made public if and when circumstances requiring confidentiality no longer exist. However, it is not presently known when such circumstances will exist. Can I please get a motion in a second?
Motion.
All right. And can I get a roll call vote?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Ms. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Ms. Menzer,
Yes.
Mrs. Strad,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. And I'll be excusing the public from to executive.